What if the government passed a bill so massive, so rushed, and so chaotic that even the people voting on it had no clue what was inside? What if that bill secretly cut life-saving benefits from millions of struggling Americans while quietly rewarding wealthy donors and corporate cronies? And what if those same poor and working-class voters who helped put these politicians in office were the ones being hurt the most? Welcome to the Big Beautiful Bill, which is the latest disaster from Capitol Hill. In this episode of the Bulwark podcast, hosted by Tim Miller with Sarah Longwell, they unpack the madness behind the bill that just passed the Senate. From betrayal to manipulation, this isn't just a political story. It's a human story. And today, we break down the 10 biggest takeaways that reveal exactly what they are hiding in the Big Beautiful Bill. Takeaway 1, what they are really hiding in the bill. At the heart of the Big Beautiful Bill is a brutal truth that few people know. It slashes funding for essential programs like Medicaid and SNAP. That means health care and food assistance are being stripped away from millions of Americans, including seniors in nursing homes, working single moms, and people with disabilities. And here's what makes it worse. These cuts are not being explained or debated in public. They are buried deep inside complex language, rushed through in backroom deals, and slipped past watchdogs under the cover of urgency. One woman in Sarah Longwell's focus group shared that she lives on just $900 a month and relies on Medicaid for medication. If these cuts go through, she simply won't survive. This is what they are hiding. And if you are not rich, you should be very concerned. Takeaway 2. This bill was written in chaos. The way this bill was written and passed is a warning sign for anyone who cares about democracy. Senators were still adding handwritten notes to the legislation during the vote itself. Some couldn't even read each other's handwriting. Others were making deals on the fly with the parliamentarian over what language could stay and what had to be removed. That is not how serious countries make laws. This wasn't a careful negotiation. It was chaos. Brian Schatz, a senator from Hawaii, called it one of the worst legislative processes he had ever seen. Imagine building a plane while flying it, but for something that controls health care, taxes, and government spending. That's what just happened here. Takeaway 3. The more you learn, the worse it gets. Many Americans still do not know what is in this bill, and that is exactly how the people who wrote it want it to stay. The longer this bill sits in the light, the more people see how damaging it really is. It gives billions in tax breaks to the wealthy, guts public programs, and adds trillions to the national debt. One of the hosts said, "The longer this bill is exposed, the more it starts to smell, just like a dead cat on a front porch." That's why they rushed it. Because the more voters learn, the more they realize that this bill is not just flawed. It is dangerous. Takeaway 4. Trumpism is the reason this exists. This bill would not exist without Donald Trump. He pushed it hard and called it his Big Beautiful Bill, not because it was good policy, but because it made him look like a winner. Trumpism is not a philosophy. It is a survival strategy. Get what you want. Cut deals in secret. Reward loyalty. Punish enemies. And don't worry about the consequences. That's why senators who once cared about deficits or fairness have now voted for a bill that does the opposite of what they used to believe. Even J.D. Vance, who once compared Trump to Hitler, is now the vice president defending a bill that cuts health care for poor families. Because in Trumpism, power is all that matters. Takeaway 5. Real people feel betrayed. Sarah Longwell shared emotional clips from focus groups with Trump voters. One woman nearly cried while explaining how Medicaid cuts would affect her family. She said if her elderly parents lose Medicaid, they will be kicked out of their nursing home. Another man worried that SNAP cuts would leave his children hungry. These are not people reading policy papers. These are working Americans who voted for Trump, who trusted him, and now feel completely betrayed. They are watching every update about this bill, hoping someone will stop it. But the people they voted for are the ones pushing it forward. We're halfway through the video. Thanks for sticking with us. If you're enjoying it, hit the thumbs up and share it in your WhatsApp groups. If you'd like to support us, please tap the thanks button below. It helps us keep making great content. Drop a comment and don't forget to hit subscribe for more. Now let's continue with the video. Takeaway 6. Even Trump voters are turning on this. Longwell explains that Trump voters are not all the same. Some are furious, some are confused, some are blindly loyal. But one thing is clear. The people who actually rely on programs like SNAP and Medicaid do not like this bill. One voter said he hopes it all works out, but he's scared for his parents. Another pointed out the only thing he liked was the part about tax-free tips. That's it. No one was cheering for the Medicaid cuts. No one was asking for the SNAP rollbacks. So if Trump and the Republicans think their base is with them on this, they are in for a rude awakening. Takeaway 7. The moderates caved under pressure. People like Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins were once seen as the grown-ups in the room. They were supposed to stop the worst ideas from becoming law. But when the vote came, Murkowski said yes. Why? Because she got a small deal for Alaska. In exchange for protecting her own state, she threw the rest of the country under the bus. That is not leadership. That is a bribe. And it shows how Trumpism has infected even those who claim to stand apart. If all it takes is a carve-out to get your vote, then you are not a moderate. You are part of the problem. Takeaway 8. Trump does not care who gets hurt. Trump is not thinking about Medicaid, SNAP, or rural hospitals. He is thinking about headlines. He wants to be able to say that he passed a bill. That's why the actual content of the bill doesn't matter to him. He does not care who gets hurt, as long as he can declare victory. If poor voters lose their health care, that is someone else's problem. If hospitals close, that is a local issue. And if the national debt explodes, he will just blame the Democrats. This is not leadership. It is selfishness on a national scale. Takeaway 9. Democrats can still fight back. This bill is a gift to Democrats, but only if they know how to use it. They need to run ads showing real people hurt by the bill. Not experts, not politicians. Regular Americans. A mom who loses SNAP. A senior who cannot get medication. A gig worker who loses access to care. These stories are everywhere, and Democrats must make them visible. Because the GOP is counting on people not paying attention. And if the public does not understand what was taken from them, they will never vote to take it back. Takeaway 10. There is still time to expose the truth. This story is not over. The bill has passed the Senate, but the battle in the House is coming next. That means there is still time to shine a light on what is really inside. Groups like Home of the Brave are collecting stories from real Americans who are being hurt. These voices need to be heard. And if they are, there is still a chance to stop the damage, hold the right people accountable, and protect the programs that help millions of families survive. So what are they hiding in the big beautiful bill? Everything that should matter to you. They are hiding cuts to health care, cuts to food, cuts to dignity, all buried beneath layers of spin, chaos, and distraction. But now you know. And once you know, you cannot unsee it. The question is, what will you do with that knowledge? Will you stay silent? Or will you share the truth others are too afraid to face? Because when power hides its worst actions, exposing them is not just a political act. It is a moral one. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support this channel, hit the thanks button below. It really helps us keep going. If you enjoyed this summary, please leave a like and share it in your WhatsApp groups. To join discussion about this video, drop a comment below. And for more videos like this, hit the subscribe button below.